Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Carter says 5 words that will change Liam and Hope's future forever. Carter's doubts about Hope and Liam are stoked by Daphne. Returning to Los Angeles with a message for Carter Walton is Daphne the Nose Rose. Is Carter's decision to reject Daphne in favor of Hope Logan likely to change? Daphne is back big and strong. Daphne's comeback comes at a sensitive moment, as Liam Spencer finds out he has cancer. Actually, in an attempt to get a large payout, unscrupulous Grace Buckingham staged the entire farce. Grace was called upon to save her evil ex-husband, Reese Buckingham, who was drowning in gambling debt. Hope and Liam referred to Grace as a hero. And then the story began to show its fractures. When people discovered that Bill Spencer had given Grace $1 million right prior to Liam's experimental brain surgery, they were shocked. However, Grace broke down and acknowledged that she needed the money to settle Reese's gambling debts after Finn Finnegan came too close. She pleaded with Finn to maintain her secret, but he refused since his commitment to do no harm meant something to him. Does Daphne alert Carter? From lying to a patient to performing needless surgery to drugging Liam, Grace violated every rule in the book. When Grace tells Liam, Hope is by his side. Is it a coincidence that Daphne returns to Los Angeles at the same time? As he recovers, Hope and Liam have spent a lot of time together, recalling past experiences and enjoying their role as co-parents. After the huge disclosure, it is Hope who consoles Liam. Will Hope's emotions shift? Following the heartbreaking news, Hope and Liam have a lot to process. They lean on one another, which can make Carter wonder if Daphne will come in right away to console him. We wouldn't rule out Daphne taking advantage of the situation when Carter tells her about this most recent development. Does anybody else believe that Daphne will snark at Carter about Hope staying with him just because she believed Liam was dying? Daphne is quite persuasive. Because Hope loves Liam, Daphne is astute enough to suggest that Carter is really a consolation prize. Let's be honest, Daphne is skilled at influencing men, and Carter is easily swayed. Just letting you know. What are you thin? Does Liam catch the scandalous moment between Carter and Daphne? Liam Spencer was able to capture the scandalous moment between Carter Walton and Daphne Rose. Will Liam become defensive about Hope Logan and snap at her unfaithful husband? Liam needs something else to occupy his time now that his fictitious brain tumor plot is coming to an end. Given how much time Liam and Hope have been spending together, it's likely that his ex-wife will be featured in his upcoming novel. Though they might want to get Carter out of the way first, B&B is giving hints about a potential reunion between Hope and Liam. Daphne may have returned to Los Angeles with her sights set on the Carter reward for this reason. When temptation is presented to Carter, he has demonstrated that he lacks self-control. Daphne has already given Carter a kiss and might do it again soon. There's even a chance that Carter and Daphne might have a more intense, passionate meeting. In any case, it appears that Carter is betraying Hope now that Daphne is back to capture his interest. That may, of course, result in Carter and Daphne being caught. Makeout sessions and other sexy encounters frequently wind up being included on the CBS soap opera. What if Liam shows up and sees Daphne and Carter going too far? There may be a scenario in which Liam spies Carter in a controversial position with Daphne while searching for Hope at Forrester Creations. Given that Liam was the one who persuaded Hope to give Carter another chance, it would be intriguing to have him in that situation. Since Liam believed Carter was dying, he was relying on him to be a decent guy and care for Hope for many years to come. But now that Liam is aware that he has plenty of time to stay and possibly mend his relationship with Hope, things are already starting to change. If Liam sees Carter cheating on Hope with Daphne, it might be another game-changer. That could help Liam see he was mistaken to think Carter was the right man for Hope. It might also cause Liam to question whether he could treat Hope better, at least now that he has changed as a person. Perhaps Liam has moved past the period of his life when he was a waffler and kept breaking Hope's heart. In any case, Liam may be the one to expose Carter and rat them out because he won't tolerate it if he sees them betraying Hope with Daphne. Carter's warning from Daphne, he will give up. Hope and Liam discover the horrible truth. The terrible news of Liam Spencer's cancer diagnosis, that's in quotes, will be revealed this week. Liam and Hope were just expressing their gratitude to Grace Buckingham for saving Liam's life. However, Hope was taken aback when she learned that Bill Spencer had spent millions of dollars on the procedure. Bill and Grace are both commended by everyone for saving Liam's life with that experimental brain surgery. Then everything falls apart. Unwilling to protect Grace's secret, Finn dragged her to the Spencer estate and made her tell the truth. The real story of Grace's deceit and Liam's false cancer diagnosis. As I feared, Grace was not only lying to Liam, but she was also giving him drugs to make his symptoms resemble those of cancer. I've been stating for a while that I believed the drugs in those prescription bottles were ones she was taking illegally to make him weak and lightheaded, which is what caused the blackouts and other symptoms. Grace told Finn everything, and he was appalled. Liam and Hope will also be appalled too. They were just discussing Grace's terrible ex-husband Reese Buckingham, who stole their daughter Beth when she was a baby and caused a great deal of harm. Now that Grace is about to tell Liam and Hope that she fabricated the entire cancer diagnosis and cure in order to pay off Reese's gambling debts, Reese is coming back to haunt them. And Liam and Hope will be in complete awe at Grace's confession. Liam believed he was going to die. His children's mothers did the same. In addition to everyone else who was distraught by Liam's prognosis, Hope and Steffi Forrester were upset. They will be horrified beyond belief. Hope is in the Spencer mansion with Liam when Grace makes this startling admission because she has been looking after him, which Carter is cool with. But a change is on the horizon. The effect of Hope Logan on Liam Spencer's recuperation and her engagement to Carter Walton. Since it's his home, Bill has also been there a lot to take care of it. Additionally, a licensed home nurse is available. But when Grace and Finn dropped by, Hope was with him. Therefore, I believe that Hope was purposefully present by Liam's side for the major fictitious diagnosis reveal in Bold and the Beautiful. Hope, in my opinion, is there for important upcoming plot points. I believe it has to do with Hope's engagement to Carter and Daphne's return to Los Angeles. When you recall, Hope and Liam became closer and discussed their love when he was near death. Following Grace's miraculous surgery, Hope and Liam spent more time together and talked about their past and the significance of their love. That seems crucial as well. Hope will now be there to console Liam as he copes with this shock as a result of Grace's terrible deception. Bold and the Beautiful, does Hope's emotional state shift? And that might start to alter Hope's feelings for both Liam and Carter. Or it might make Hope examine, contrast, and reflect on the depth of her affections for each man. Before Hope learned that Liam was dying, it appeared as though they were headed for a reconciliation from the start of Liam's devastating cancer saga. She had just begun dating Carter, but she had previously thought about getting back together with him because Hope felt her life had fallen apart after they broke up. Then she answered, well, maybe not. Then, knowing that Carter was dying, Liam used both hands to shove Hope in his direction. Hope therefore pardoned Carter. Then, after he proposed too quickly, she took his engagement ring and put it on her finger. That was all because Hope realized how fleeting and valuable life is after learning that Liam had a terminal diagnosis at the moment. She was also aware that Liam wasn't a viable long-term partner. Carter Walton's heartbreak over Hope Logan and Daphne Rose's comeback. But after Grace's surprising disclosure is over, Hope and Liam may come to the realization that their feelings for one another are genuine love and not just a mutual respect and love since they are co-parents with a past. Carter is going to experience heartbreak, in my opinion. Additionally, I believe Daphne is going to get a huge break soon. We know that Carter overheard Hope telling Liam that she loved him and wanted to be with him, and he shared this information with Daphne. And Daphne thought, oh, Carter's free, which made her very happy. Oh, no, Carter misunderstood, says Hope after she changes her mind. He didn't, in my opinion. I believe Hope came to the realization that her future did not justify wanting Liam. Brave and lovely, everything is transformative. Now, however, everything is different. Hope will inform Carter that Liam is healthy and that he was misled. Carter will also share this important news with Daphne. Additionally, I believe she will reveal some shocking facts about Carter. Daphne is likely to inform Carter that Hope only became engaged to him, in my opinion, because Hope was clinging to Carter like a life raft while Liam, the man she truly loves, was dying. Daphne might even inform Carter that he will be a consolation prize even if Hope stays with him, since Hope genuinely adores Liam. Daphne wasn't brought back to Los Angeles for no purpose by Bold and the Beautiful. She has obviously fallen in love with Carter and wants to be with him, you know. Daphne was unsuccessful in her repeated attempts to persuade Carter to pick her over Hope. But by the end of this week and the beginning of next week, things are starting to change. Additionally, I believe Daphne might persuade Carter that he is in a precarious situation with Hope, since Liam is still alive. That's how he will remain. He never got sick. Furthermore, Hope's affection for Liam remained unwavering. She was afraid that he would go, so it kind of got put on hold. Possible couple swap, the complicated relationships of Hope, Liam, Carter, and Daphne. It's also possible that Daphne may corner Hope and ask her about Liam and her love for her ex. As you recall, Hope was envious of Daphne's relationship with Carter. However, Hope might not view Daphne's presence negatively if she comes to terms with her desire to be with Liam. Since Carter could just replace her with Daphne, it might lessen the impact. Winning the consolation award would be the reward for that. However, Daphne has a strong affection for Carter. Carter only wants a woman to pick him. Stop wasting your time with a woman whose heart belongs to somebody else and choose me, Daphne would advise Carter. Daphne is eagerly awaiting. Additionally, she was rather successful in persuading Carter that Hope preferred Liam than him the last time. Hope told Carter he misread things, but only that one time. He didn't. Naturally, they became engaged far too quickly after that, while he was attempting to restrain Hope. Perhaps Carter may even resign in the end to spare Hope from hurting him by calling off their engagement to Liam. Well, if Carter were the bigger man and volunteered to let her go, that would be good. Carter might even be persuaded to do so by Daphne. In the event that Carter doesn't trust what Daphne is telling him, she might also advise him to test Hope. You know, give her a try by offering to let her go and seeing if she objects. Therefore, that is a possibility. In the end, I picture a couple exchange where Carter gives Daphne what she wants, him, and Liam gets Hope. Daphne the Nose Rose's return to Los Angeles, ostensibly bearing a message for Carter Walton, wasn't merely a reappearance. It was a lit match tossed onto the already smoldering tinder of Carter's deepest, most corrosive insecurity. His rejection of Daphne in favor of the luminous Hope Logan had been a declaration, a choice for stability, warmth, and a future seemingly unburdened by the chaotic specters of his past. Yet, the tectonic plates beneath Carter's carefully constructed world shifted violently with the revelation of Liam Spencer's manufactured cancer crisis, orchestrated by the duplicitous Grace Buckingham to settle her ex-husband Reese's ruinous gambling debts. This seismic event didn't just expose Grace's monstrous deception, drugging Liam, performing unnecessary surgery, lying with breathtaking audacity, it also violently resurrected the ghost of Lope, the profound, history-laden connection between Liam and Hope that Carter had foolishly, desperately, hoped was finally laid to rest. Now, as Hope stands steadfastly by Liam's side in the raw aftermath of this devastating betrayal, offering the comfort only a shared past and co-parenting bond can provide, Carter's initial confidence in his relationship with Hope evaporates, replaced by a suffocating dread that he was never Hope's true destination, merely a convenient port in Liam's storm, a dread Daphne, large, in charge, and terrifyingly perceptive, is poised to exploit with surgical precision. Carter's insecurity isn't a sudden eruption, it's a fault line running deep through his character, exacerbated by past romantic failures and the lingering sting of feeling perpetually second best. Choosing Hope over the volatile Daphne felt like a definitive step towards a calmer, more secure harbor. Hope represented stability, integrity, and a love seemingly untarnished by the Spencer family's relentless drama. But Liam Spencer, even when seemingly terminally ill, remained an omnipresent force. Carter witnessed the depth of Hope's grief, her unwavering commitment to supporting Liam through his ordeal, a commitment that transcended mere co-parenting civility. He saw the lingering glances, the shared history that whispered between them in quiet moments, the unspoken language forged through years of love, betrayal, forgiveness, and profound loss. While Carter offered Hope a sanctuary, a relationship built on mutual respect and burgeoning affection, he couldn't shake the feeling that a significant part of her heart remained eternally tethered to Liam, residing in a place Carter could never truly access. The cancer diagnosis, however fraudulent, acted as a brutal catalyst, forcing Hope and Liam into an intense, emotionally charged proximity that reignited old embers with terrifying speed. Their shared trauma, Liam grappling with the psychological fallout of being violated and deceived on such a fundamental level, Hope reeling from the manipulation that exploited her deepest compassion, created a crucible where their complex history burned brighter than ever. They weren't just reminiscing, they were reliving, reconnecting, finding solace only in each other's understanding of the unique hell they'd endured. Carter, relegated to the periphery of this intense emotional exchange, felt the distance widen with each tender moment Hope shared with Liam, each tear she wiped away, each inside joke that sparked a weary smile on Liam's face. He was the supportive boyfriend on the outside, but inside, a corrosive question began to metastasize: was he ever truly on the inside? Enter Daphne Rose, returning not just with a message, but with the predatory timing of a shark scenting blood in the water. Her moniker The Nose speaks volumes. She possesses an uncanny ability to sniff out weakness, vulnerability, and emotional fissures ripe for exploitation. Her history with Carter is a tangled web of passion, volatility, and ultimately, rejection. She hasn't forgotten being cast aside for the perceived perfection of Hope Logan. Daphne doesn't do forgiveness, she does opportunity. And Carter's burgeoning insecurity, magnified tenfold by Hope's constant presence at Liam's bedside, is the ripest opportunity imaginable. When Carter, perhaps seeking reassurance or simply unable to contain his gnawing anxiety, inevitably confides in Daphne about Hope's deepening involvement with Liam, Daphne won't offer sympathy. She'll offer poison, meticulously distilled and devastatingly plausible. She will lean in, her eyes glinting with faux concern masking pure calculation, and whisper the insidious narrative Carter's deepest fears crave and dread simultaneously. "Carter, darling, open your eyes," she'll murmur, her voice a velvet trap. "Hope is only clinging to you now because she thought Liam was dying. You were the safe bet, the reliable shoulder to cry on when her real future seemed lost. But Liam's back, Carter. He's alive, he's vulnerable, and he needs her in a way you never will." She's reliving their entire history, comforting him, playing the devoted partner all over again. Where does that leave you? The consolation prize? The reliable placeholder she settled for while her true love was out of reach? Think about it. The moment Liam showed a pulse, figuratively and literally, she ran back to him. Is that the action of a woman committed to you? Or is it the reflex of a woman whose heart has always belonged to Spencer? Daphne's genius lies not just in articulating Carter's darkest thoughts, but in twisting undeniable truths into weapons. She'll point to the undeniable facts. Hope did rush to Liam's side during his illness, prioritizing him in a way that sidelined Carter. Hope is spending an inordinate amount of time with Liam now, providing intense emotional support that goes far beyond co-parenting duties. Hope has a profound, complicated history with Liam that Carter can never replicate. Daphne will frame Hope's compassion, her loyalty, her deep-seated care for the father of her child, not as virtues, but as damning evidence of her enduring, primary love for Liam. She loves him, Carter, Daphne will insist, her voice dripping with faux pity. She always has. You were just, convenient. Available. The good man she could turn to when the bad boy was tragically out of reach. But the bad boy is back, and he's wounded, and that's a siren song Hope Logan has never been able to resist. Face it. You're the rebound that lasted a little too long. Now that Liam needs saving again, where do you think her hero complex will lead her? Straight back to him. This narrative resonates so profoundly because it taps into Carter's core vulnerability, his fear of being fundamentally inadequate, of being the good-on-paper choice who can never compete with the epic, messy, all-consuming passion of Lope. Daphne knows Carter is susceptible, prone to doubt, and easily swayed by forceful personalities, especially hers. She understands the male ego, particularly one as bruised as Carter's currently is. She'll wield her intimacy with him, her knowledge of his insecurities, like a scalpel, expertly dissecting his confidence and replacing it with doubt and resentment. Her goal isn't necessarily to win Carter back immediately, it's to destabilize him, to plant seeds of such profound distrust and insecurity that his relationship with Hope becomes untenable, leaving him vulnerable and isolated, and potentially ripe for Daphne's brand of destructive comfort. The fallout from Grace Buckingham's heinous lies creates the perfect pressure cooker for Daphne's manipulations to take hold. Liam isn't just recovering from surgery, he's reeling from a profound psychological violation. His trust in medicine, in people, in his own perception of reality, has been shattered. Hope, bearing her own trauma from believing she was losing him and then discovering the cruel ruse, is uniquely positioned to understand this specific pain. Their shared experience creates an intimacy forged in fire, an emotional intensity that Carter, for all his genuine love and support, simply cannot penetrate. He watches them navigate this shared nightmare, speaking in shorthand born of years of intertwined lives and mutual suffering, and feels like an outsider in his own relationship. Every tender moment he witnesses between them, Hope brushing hair from Liam's forehead, Liam grasping her hand for strength, the shared, weary understanding in their eyes, feels like a confirmation of Daphne's poisonous whispers. The more Hope tries to reassure Carter, the more her actions seem to contradict her words. Her commitment to Liam's recovery feels absolute, all-consuming, leaving Carter questioning the space left for him. Is her presence with Liam duty, compassion, or dormant love roaring back to life? Carter's insecurity warps his perception, making Hope's genuine kindness and loyalty look like evidence of her divided heart. He starts questioning her motives. Is she only staying with me out of guilt? Pity? Because it's the right thing to do after Liam's ordeal? Daphne's voice echoes relentlessly in his mind. Consolation prize, settled for you, true love is Liam. This insecurity poisons his interactions. He becomes needier, more demanding of reassurance, or conversely, withdrawn and suspicious. He might pick fights, misinterpret innocent interactions, or withdraw emotionally, creating the very distance he fears. His jealousy, once a manageable undercurrent, threatens to become a destructive flood, potentially pushing Hope away, exactly the outcome Daphne desires, proving her point that Hope's loyalty ultimately lies elsewhere. Therefore, Daphne Stokes Carter's return isn't just a subplot, it's the detonation of a bomb under Carter Walton's fragile sense of security within his relationship with Hope Logan. The exposure of Grace Buckingham's cruel cancer hoax didn't just shatter Liam's world, it cracked the foundation of Carter's happiness, revealing the fault line of his profound insecurity about Hope's enduring connection to her ex-husband. Daphne, with her unerring nose for vulnerability and her arsenal of manipulative prowess, is the perfect agent to weaponize this insecurity. She doesn't need to fabricate lies, she merely needs to twist the painful truths of Hope's deep compassion for Liam and their intense, shared history into a narrative that confirms Carter's deepest fear, that he is, and always will be, second best in Hope Logan's heart. As Hope remains Liam's anchor in the storm of betrayal, Carter finds himself adrift in a sea of doubt, lashed by Daphne's expertly crafted barbs, wondering if the love he fought so hard for was ever truly his to claim, or merely borrowed time until Liam Spencer, Hope's seemingly eternal flame, found his way back into the light. The question now isn't just whether Liam will heal from Grace's deception, but whether Carter's relationship with Hope can survive the devastating diagnosis of his own insecurity, expertly exacerbated by the woman he once rejected, who now holds the potential to shatter his world just as thoroughly as Grace shattered Liam's.